This is the Raising Karter podcast. I'm your host, Ramon Weatherall. You're going to have to discipline him sometimes. So, how do you balance the two? You have to balance the two. You can't just be this hard disciplinarian. And when they get older, they might just shut you out. Or if you just the lovey-dovey parent, that might not work for you either because then they're not going to take you serious. When you're trying to give them, direction or discipline them. So how do you balance the two? When I say love, what does that mean to you? Because
It means that you're not just gonna go full out aggression. Love is like knowing when you can stop the discipline and you can start the discipline.
but
You're not this crazy about it. And love is also caring about your your son. You're not this lashing out on the littlest things.
that's what love means. But the word, just the word love, when you think about, oh, my dad loves me and my mom loves me, what does that look like to you?
Caring.
Okay. Caring. Now, discipline. What do you think is good discipline and what is bad discipline? What's good discipline and what is bad discipline that you could tell all the fathers out there that's watching this you should not do to your son?
Okay, now number one, let's start off with good. Probably like if they have a switch or they have a anything that means to them, not their dog, not meaning their dog. You can either take it for like 1 day or 2 days, maybe a week, but I think a month is way too much. Bad discipline is like punching or getting physical.
All right. That's bad discipline. And according to Carter, is like punching, hitting, whooping. What age do you think a son or should stop be getting spankings?
And probably by age 11, like going into the teenager age. No.
Oh,
Probably like not like right on the dot. Probably starting to get into the nines or eights or the.
okay.
I think they should stop at 8.
Okay. So that's spankings should stop. No more spankings at the age 8. That's a little, to me, I think spankings probably should stop around 5 or 6. Because once you can communicate with your son, you can talk to him. What are you doing hitting him? I'm not crazy about spankings in the first place, but sometimes I don't know if they're ever necessary, really, but sometimes I could see why, you just an attention, a pop on the rear end, like an attention, is get someone, snap you back into reality. But whoopings, no, that's a spanking and a whooping is two different things. In order for your son to connect, to respond to your discipline, you have to be consistent. Do you think that it's good for a father to be inconsistent? Like sometimes he might be, real easy on you, and the next time he might be real hard on you. Do you think it's important for the father or the parent to be consistent? For you to know that if I do this thing, I'm going to get in trouble by dad. Do you think it's important for a father to be consistent with his discipline and with his love?
I think one thing, I don't know what consistent means.
Consistent means that he does it regularly. You can depend on this action. Do you think a father should be consistent with the love, the affection that he gives you, and with the discipline he gives you?
Love, you should always be consistent with that. Discipline sometimes, but not like all the time. Like a little thing. Like for example, if
Of
you're in a
course you would
basketball
say
game, they missed the shot, and then you discipline them. That's not really anything. You can't discipline them on the littlest things.
I'm
If
talking about.
it's something big, then fine.
That's what I'm talking about. Discipline. Like you, for instance. Let's use you as an example because you're standing right here and you're my son. You have a real issue with keeping your room clean. Other fathers out there, you probably know what I mean. They have so do you think it's a good idea for a father to be consistent about his discipline about keeping your room clean or to be inconsistent? You probably would like for me to be inconsistent, but give a real honest answer. Do you think it's important for a father to be consistent with his discipline on a son not keeping his room clean?
Her name was Callie. Let's say we had a dog, and if it's coming in our room and it'll come back, and then, for example, my room would be a giant dog bowl. You would be, then you could be consistent. I mean,
But now since we don't have a dog, your room can be
no.
a pigsty. Is that what you're saying?
No. If your room has like maybe a bottle or two or there's some stuff on the floor, that's fine. Just pick it up. But if your room has like thousands of stuff, garbage that's thrown all over the room, at this point, it's not even a room. You need to be inconsistent.
You need to be consistent. You mean
Yes.
okay? Is it important for a father to be, or any parent to be positive? What do you think about that? Is that important to you when you, with balancing love and discipline? Is it important for your parent to be positive? Should they be positive?
If that sign language that I did a second ago wasn't enough, yes, they should be very, very positive. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Communication.
yes.
How important is that to you? I mean, you're only 7, going on 8, but I don't think it's a good idea to discipline a child without having communication. Just like you're in trouble. Like for what? How important is communication?
Very. Communication is very important because if you said to me, you're in trouble, I'm like, for what? There could be a billion possibilities,
Yeah.
and then I grow up and I don't know what I got in trouble for that day.
True. And when I say communication, I think just talking to each other regularly and knowing what's going on in your son's life or in your dad's life. Do you think that's important? Do you think that's important? I witnessed a father who never talked to his kids. I never seen him talk to his kids. So I wouldn't want, please don't be like that. But how important do you think of us just talking and not always being father and son, just being guys, just being friends? Because that's a part. I'm not your friend, but we can be friendly.
Yes, you need to have a, a connection with your type of son. Now, that connection isn't like friendship. They're your dad, not your friend. But you can be friendly, but not as a friend. With every dad out there, it's important to have a bond and you need to talk to get stuff through with. So you need to talk to your son to be what's happening so he's not surprised because not talking can also lead to secrets, and I don't think any son wants to have secrets kept from them that they need to know.
All right. One, I mean, I couldn't have said it better. What's the major difference that you see between your relationship with your mother in your relationship with me that's different between those two relationships?
First we had to start off. My mom is a woman. He's a man. So of course, when I need advice about stuff that a boy should need, I'll go to him. He could go to my mom for advice or any other woman that's in their life. Since he works and he has to do the podcast, I spend most of my time with my mom. But I do know more about my dad. The reason why those things are split in half and they're not the exact same is my dad is a man. So, of course, I'm going to come to him for advice. But I could come to my mom for advice at one point in my life, but I don't see that being at this stage.
That's insight to me, but that's letting all the people out there know. This is a 7-year-old going on 8 telling you that he already, young boys know the difference. And he said it himself. When he wants information about being a young boy or being a man, he comes to me. Other things that he might, he comes to his mom. No, you don't. Only thing you can do is be their mom. You can't be their dad. You heard it from a 7-year-old that wasn't coached. This is how he feels. Didn't even know we were doing this podcast today or what it was about. We just came and did it. So, you got any last things you want to say about this subject?
If you and your dad are watching this together, I just want to say it's good to have a bond with your kids, and all the sons out there, don't go to your mom for advice that you know a man's gonna have. At one point of your life, you'll need to ask your mom for advice. Most of the advice you're gonna come to your dad for. So I need to let you know.
Is that your honest opinions? Not me. So this is your honest opinion, how you feel.
Yes.
If you're gonna come to me or maybe your brother about, your older brother, you could go to him. I'm gonna talk to my brother about this. So this is one thing also that I think is underrated about fathers. Yes, we might not even know
who the teacher is.
We know where the school is at, but we might not know the school name. We know where it's at. We can get there in a heartbeat. I know the name, but we know things about our sons or daughters that no one else would know. That's the thing. Every father that's watching this, you know things about your son or daughter. And now I'm not talking about bad things. I'm just talking about things that they are interested in, or ways to approach them about situations, ways to get them to do things. So that's what being a father is about. Yes, we're not perfect, but we are definitely needed and essential in your son's life. And that's this podcast, balancing discipline and love, me and my son Karter. This is the Raising Karter podcast. What do you guys say?
This way 1 minute. So right before we were going to start the podcast, there's something wrong with my shoes. They're Jordan. And then I made a joke about what if Jordan donated some Jordans. This guy said Jordan isn't cool like that. So I want to see in the comment section, Jordan is cool. Michael Jordan is cool.
He ain't cool like that.
Yes, he is. Jordan, if you're watching this, I think you're cool. Don't listen to this guy. I'm not going to say his age, but don't listen to him.
I don't think he's cool like that. But that was this episode of the Raising Karter podcast. If this episode gave you any value, check out the playlist we got of more of our, that's a Legend Line t-shirt made by us. If you like that, check out the rest of our playlist for this podcast. And we are out of here. Peace.
I told you I would say it. Okay, are we done?